Hello everyone, welcome back to Indiana Kayak Fishing Journal. This past Saturday, April 11th, I got the chance to fish a northern Indiana river for some northern pike. The spring has been really kind of odd because early in the spring we had a lot of warm weather in the 60s and 70s, and since then it's really cooled off and we've had a lot of days in the 40s and maybe the low 50s. So the water temps really aren't climbing like they normally do this time of year. So it's kind of delaying some of the bites that I normally am on by this time of year. So when I got up to the river, my plan was to either throw a spinnerbait or a jerkbait, depending on the water temperature when I got there. So I got my kayak out, put it in, checked the water temperature, and the water temperature is like 48, 49 degrees. So I thought that was warm enough to go ahead and try one of my favorite warm weather baits, which is the spinnerbait. Now I'm using these basically to probe shallow weeds, greening weeds, and then weed edges. And that actually went really well. I caught some decent fish on that spinnerbait. And actually I caught what is probably my biggest largemouth bass ever. It wasn't that long. It was only like 19 1/4 inches long. But it was just absolutely massive. It had this massive head on it. It was so fat and it was so tall top to bottom. I would say definitely by weight, that's my biggest largemouth bass ever. Now if you guys have watched a lot of my previous videos, you know that I don't do a lot of largemouth bass fishing, so the fact that that's my biggest largemouth bass ever isn't really that surprising just because I never target them. Very cool fish though, awesome to get. I was really super excited about it, as you can tell on the footage. Now when I was throwing that spinnerbait along this one weed edge, I had this big fish follow it to the boat without hitting it, and then it just kind of veered away and swam away. So I'm like made a mental note of where that fish was at. And about a half hour before I was done fishing for the day, I went back, and what I did was I switched lures out to my favorite standby, the old Rapala X-Rap, and I fished that weed edge pretty hard. And wouldn't you know it, I was moving the lure back to the boat, and it was about 10 feet away from the kayak, and this huge fish swirled on it and ate it. And that fish absolutely hammered that lure, had the entire thing in its mouth. The fight was really short. But like I said, the gear that I'm using is pretty heavy, so I basically just muscled that fish in. It was still pretty green, but like I said, I wanted to get it landed. Like I said, the fish had the entire lure in its mouth, so it definitely was bleeding a little bit, so I got it back in the water quick, just got a couple quick pictures, and I got it released right away. Really cool fish. It's probably the biggest northern pike that I've caught in at least 2 years. It was about 34 inches. Just a great, big, nice, healthy fish. So I had a really awesome day. I hope you guys enjoy the footage. Feels like a good pike. Decent fish. Nice little fish. Nothing wrong with that guy. There he goes. Sweet. Oh my gosh, that's a huge bass. Oh my gosh. Oh, it's a huge one. I thought it was a pike. It's just a giant bass. Holy shit! Look at that thing! I don't even like bass, and that is huge. Oh my god. There it is, 19, maybe 19 1/4-ish. Holy shit. That's fat. Look how fat that is. Probably only like a 3-pounder, but it is a big one. All right, let's let it go. That is a huge bass. Cool as hell. Get out of here. Go do your thing. Wow. That's a big fish. Oh, that's a big fish. Swallowed it too. Oh my gosh. Yes. Yes. Absolutely swallowed it. Oh my gosh. Look at that guy. What a fish.